Hi everybody, it's Az here from Heel vs Babyface. Now finally at 1 AM UK time, so that's 2 AM for a lot of my guildies, we finally managed to gain access to the Mogu'shan Terrace, which is where we're doing the beta test for the first boss in the Mogu'shan Vaults, which is on the up-and-coming World of Warcraft expansion, Mists of Pandaria. Now, to start with, we're greeted with these packs of Quillen, which are pretty easy to burn down. One of them enrages, it gets a little bit of a fixate on somebody, but there's nothing to worry about. Just group them up, AoE them, and then just do single target. On the frenzied one, it's nothing to work up about. But when we get to the top of the stairs, you'll notice that there's two slightly larger Quillen patrolling up and down. Do not pull these both together. Pull them one at a time, and there's a very, very simple reason. Once we've done the pull, you'll notice that it's starting to emit a debuff, and that debuff affects everybody. And what it does is it puts a debuff on yourself that if you get to 100 stacks will cause you to fully petrify. You won't be able to move, you won't be able to cast, you won't be able to do anything. Now at the moment, if that happens, the Quillen is resetting back to its patrol. However, we are pretty sure that if this was a full raid condition, that Quillen would actually start running riot through the petrified group, and you will be solid for about 15 to 20 seconds. So it's imperative that you do not let this debuff stack too high. And if you pull them both together, the debuff would go twice as quickly. The likelihood is you would get petrified, and there's nothing you can do about it. But once they've both been taken care of, we have a pack of trash on the right and a pack of trash on the left as before. Again, nothing to worry about. So the boss that we're going to be testing today is called the Stone Guard, and that's built up of 4 Quillen warriors that we can see at the moment, like the enraged one that's running around at the moment, and they're based on the Amethyst, the Cobalt, the Jade, and the Jasper Guardians. Now each of them have their own abilities, and they also have a couple of shared abilities. But when you're doing this dungeon on the 10-man normal difficulty level, the game will actually randomly select 3 out of the 4 guardians to fight you. So you will not be fighting all 4 at the same time. Now, the different abilities that they have, the Amethyst Guardian spews out a pool on the floor, and this will do about 50,000 shadow damage every single second that you're in it, so you must get out ASAP. Now for the fight that I'm doing now, that is the Guardian that we don't get to fight. We actually fight the Cobalt, Jade and Jasper, or it seems to be for the majority of the time. Now the Cobalt Guardian does like a grasp ability where it'll do 40,000 damage to you, but will also root you to the spot for 6 seconds, and there's nothing you can do about it. The Jade Guardian, it fires out these Jade Shards, which do about 50k's worth of damage, and then we have the Jasper Guardian, which does a cleave, and that will hit you for around 40 to 65k. So they're the little abilities that they have. Now, you can see that we've actually put a couple of markers down, because when the Guardians are within 12 yards of each other, they start to gain energy. And if they get their energy up to full, they will explode, and they will cause 150,000 worth of damage, shadow damage, to everyone in the raid. So what we have to do is we have the off tank will tank one of the Guardians, and the main tank will do 2 of them. So when you've got the 2 Guardians together, because they're going to be next to each other within 12 yards, they're both going to be building up the energy to do this explosion. And what you do not want is for 2 explosions at the same time, as it will do crippling damage to the raid group. So what happens is the main tank will tank them, keep an eye on the energy levels. When the energy levels get too high on both of them, the off tank will pull one of those adds that the main tank says to himself, and the main tank will pull the Guardian that the off tank's been tanking to him. So you will only take explosive damage from one Guardian, and that will make it nice and easy for the healers. If you, like I said, if you take 2 lots of explosive damage at the same time, it could well easily cripple the party and cause the raid to wipe. Now, the Guardians here also have access to a couple of other abilities, and one of them is called Solid Stone. And if that Guardian is separated from the rest and is on its own, it will turn itself into pure stone, which reduces the damage it takes by 90%. Now, it won't be able to gain energy, but you really won't be able to do any damage to it. It's very, very difficult. That's why you've got to keep 2 together and 1 separate, and not all of them separate on its own. So as you can see, the Guardian that we've got away has turned itself into stone, and it's taking vastly reduced damage. But they do have a shared health pool, so there's nothing too much to worry about at the moment. And the other ability is Rend Flesh, which will do a debuff that ticks for 15 seconds on the target that it hits. And you've got to be very careful about that rend. It's very, very nasty indeed. So at the moment, the difficulty level of the fight isn't all that hard. I think we wiped the very first time that we're here, and that's because we came in with 2 healers and 2 tanks. If we'd had 3 healers, it would have been a cakewalk, and we were really just trying to see the mechanics of the fight. But I'm pretty sure that what Blizzard are doing is just making the fight easy to start with, so we can gauge the mechanics, and then they'll work the difficulty from there. Now, as you can probably hear from what I've said as regards to what the tanks are doing, there's something quite interesting for the tanks. The healers have also got to be on the metal, because there's some nasty little abilities floating around too. However, the DPS, this fight's very, very boring indeed. I don't move a muscle throughout the whole fight. It's pretty dull for me. I'm just DPSing. So really, Blizz, you need to enter some sort of mechanic which is going to get the DPS moving around as well. Dump something on the floor, or make the ads do something else that just gets us more flexible and more involved in the fight. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I think it's been an interesting little fight to start off with. Again, with some tweaks, could be great, good fun. So do like, comment and subscribe to my channel, and I will be back, fingers crossed, very, very soon with some more stuff with you. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.